Good evening, and welcome to News from the Dome. I'm your host, Zip Osborne, coming to you live from the ZorCorp mining facility on Tarian 347. On our last episode, Elka and I, having no studio to broadcast from, decided to go mobile. We hopped on a hover train to the ZorCorp mining facility to see what life is like in the corporate mines, and to look for clues about our missing community members, perhaps even locate them. Things were going well. At dinner, we met a miner who they called Jelly Joe, and he was more than willing to share all sorts of information with us. But when he started to complain about how he and his companions were being cut out of new job opportunities at Tarian 349, we were suddenly asked to leave the dining hall and escorted to our quarters. If you aren't aware, Tarian 349 is another planet in the Tarian system. It's just a short portal ride away. It's where raw zorodite is taken and processed into the fuel we use for just about everything. If you want to learn more about Tarian 349, just look it up on your ring. There's lots of information available. Now, back to our story. I woke up this morning to find our freedom of movement had been revoked. We were met by two rather tall chaps assigned to accompany us on the rest of our tour. The morning began with breakfast in the dining hall. We were seated at a table by ourselves. Our escorts were suddenly doubling as waiters. They brought us our food and sat with us while we ate. Apparently, associating with the workers was now off limits. Well, I had had enough. I demanded to know why we were being put under guard. The two goons glanced at each other and started laughing. One of them told Elka and I that we were being protected. They explained that word of our arrival had gotten around and that there were credible threats to our lives. Elka jumped to her feet and told them she didn't need protecting, that she was going to go interview some workers. I don't think she made it 5 feet before two more goons came out of nowhere and blocked her path. She got the message and returned to her seat. I think at that moment we both realized if there was going to be any chance to see the loading zone, we'd have to cooperate. After breakfast, we were taken to the administration offices, where we were made to watch a video about the history of ZorCorp and how zorodite has improved more than 1 trillion lives. There's no denying the benefits, of course. Portals allow travel throughout the galaxy. Civilizations have been able to abandon poisonous fossil fuels, and planets that join the conglomerate benefit economically. But it's still boring, and Elka and I have other things we want to see. Just when I thought we were finally getting out of the building, we ran into the guy who does the commercials for our show. He wasn't just a voice actor. Turns out he's somewhat of a bigwig in the marketing department. Once he realized who we were, he was quick to remind us that ZorCorp is still a sponsor of our show, even with the studios temporarily shut down. He insisted he be allowed to give a plug for ZorCorp. So, here's the man himself, the voice of ZorCorp, Kota Katalir Ekiti Toto. Yeah, it took me a few times to get that one right. It's a mouthful.
We at ZorCorp are happy to be hosting your favorite news crew, Zip Osborne and Elka Mismon. As the most transparent and honest corporation operating in the galaxy, ZorCorp goes to every extreme to provide valuable information to our media partners. And as our friends from the Dome can attest, there's an abundance of great jobs to be had at our mining facility. We're just a train ride away. A morning train ride can be quite spectacular. I especially like the 7:45 train headed to the Dome. To learn more about employment opportunities, please contact your local ZorCorp representative. ZorCorp, powering your today and your tomorrow.
Okay, I guess the man loves his hover trains. So after recording the commercial with Coda, and yeah, he told me he had a nickname, our next stop was the sorting center. Here, ore is brought in and separated based on grade and quality. Workers shovel ore onto wide conveyor belts that disappear into analysis machines. On the other end, the ore exits on two separate belts, one carrying the high-grade ore, the other the low-grade. High-grade zorodite will be used to power starships, the portals, and other super high-tech equipment, while the lower-grade ore supplies power to cities and land-based transportation. It basically replaces carbon-based fuels that many planets in the galaxy were using before the discovery of zorodite. Our stay at the sorting center took a while, but finally we got to visit the loading zone. And lucky for us, it was a day that a cargo ship was scheduled to be loaded with ore and taken to the processing center on Tarian 349. A low hum filled the air when the cargo ship broke through the atmosphere and began its descent. There's nothing aerodynamic about one of these things. It's shaped like a long rectangular box. It looks like it should just drop out of the sky like a lead weight. And it would, too, if it wasn't for zorodite. A thin, brilliant blue line runs along the bottom of the box, and two more on each of the sides. These power the vessel, providing lift and thrust. When the ship landed, we were kept at a distance while the zorodite was being loaded. Large shipping containers were moved from long, flat transports that hovered just a few feet off the ground and onto a conveyor belt that sent them into the ship's hold. The crew wasn't made available to us for interviews either, but we did get a chance to speak with a geologist who was accompanying the ship to the processing center. He said his job was to take samples from the containers and confirm that the lower quality ore was separated from the good stuff before being shipped. I've always wondered why zorodite is taken to another location for processing, so I took the opportunity to ask the geologist. He was just beginning to explain that processing zorodite requires very specific environmental conditions when our escorts suddenly cut him off. They asserted that the primary reason for processing on Tarian 349 was its location to distribution centers and access to portals connecting solar systems throughout the galaxy. I'm pretty sure the geologist was swearing under his breath at the assertion. After the last container was loaded and the crew boarded the ship, Elka and I were led to a waiting shuttle bus that would take us back to the administration building. Just as I climbed in, I saw a cloud of dust rising from the ground in the distance. I got just a glimpse of what looked like another shuttle bus approaching the landing zone. But before I could make out anything more, the door slammed shut. The windows of the shuttle were tinted so dark I couldn't see out of them. Whatever was kicking up that dust remains a mystery for now. Could it have been a shuttle delivering workers, like Jelly Joe was trying to tell us? Seems possible to me. But we hadn't yet found proof of anything sinister going on here. It was going to take some more digging. Elka, of course, loves to investigate. She was jonesing for an interview. We needed to find a way to talk to people without these pesky guards in our way. The shuttle dropped us off at the dining hall. We knew the guards weren't going to let us interact with the workers at dinner, so we quickly ate and returned to our rooms. There, we talked over our rings and plotted ways to ditch our guards in the morning. I hope things go well, and I look forward to reporting to you all about it in our next segment of News from the Dome. So, until next time, good night and good luck. We at the Dome appreciate you listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, please share, subscribe, and like. Thank you.